So,
My name is Ormond Mcgill, and I was born in Palo Alto, California, and but it's still, I call it my home. Although I don't live with where I was born, of course. I'm now living in a place called Stevenson House, which has a lot of people who are getting along in years. I guess you'd call them seniors. Anyway, we're going to give you a little resume of some of my adventures in my life as we go along, and we'll see what comes out. First of all, I must tell you about the girl I married. Her name was Delight, and the story is that her mother, when she was born, said, "You know, this girl is going to be a delight for the world," whatever that meant. Anyway, she often said to me that that's a very hard name to live up to, because to be delightful all the time is almost impossible. Anyway, my experience meeting her was this. I was living in Palo Alto at the time, and Delight and her sister moved from San Jose to Palo Alto, and they opened a music studio called the Olmsted Music Studio. And her mother thought the girls should get acquainted, so they went over and went to a senior group over at the Methodist Church, which is meeting on Sunday nights. Mostly just talk and conversation, but it was a nice place to go to meet people that lived in town, or at least they were around the town more or less, since they were students at Stanford University. So anyway, I went there with my friend by the name of Dick Waterhouse. He's a pap I had known for a number of years, and we just happened to that we had nothing to do that evening, so we went over to the church. Well, it wasn't actually in the church; it was just next door. I was a resident that was used for this purpose. So anyway, I went in there, and so did Dick, and to our surprise, we met Delight and her sister Anna Mae. And somehow or other, I took more or less an interest in Delight, and my friend Dick Waterhouse, he went in the direction of Anna Mae, which was a nice social evening. And after it was all over, the meeting, which was simply some songs and a little conversation, why, she invited us to go to the studio and they turn on some music and maybe have a little refreshments, and we could all dance together in the dancing room. Because at that time, Delight was teaching dancing, so that was very appropriate. So we all went over there, and we were dancing around, and much to my surprise, suddenly, right in the middle of the dance, Delight turned off the music, and she went ahead and said, "Everybody leave the room now. Go to the kitchen. You'll find refreshments out there. But I just want to be here alone with Ormond for a little while." And so that's the way I met her. And I was very surprised, because that never happened to me before, that anyone made a special effort to clear the room and have me there. Anyway, I met the girl, and we got rather well acquainted. And in fact, we went around together for 4 years before I finally had a chance to go to Los Angeles. And I was going down there to do, I hoped, some arrangements for show business. A friend of mine, I was a student at Stanford University by the name of Bob Bernard, had gotten himself a job down there, only publicity. So he said, "Come down, maybe we can find some shows down here for you." So anyway, I told Delight I was going to go down there, and she said, "I'm going with you." Well, I thought that was very nice, but I wasn't exactly prepared for anything particularly. But nonetheless, we went down to Los Angeles. And while we were down there, she said, "Let's get married." Well, I had kind of hesitated about getting married, because I felt like I should have build up a sort of a reserve as a bank account to live on and that type of thing. So what I did was, I said, "Okay, well, let's see what happens." So we went and to Santa Monica, and we found a private minister with his residence, and we were in there, and we had the marriage ceremony. Our folks were a little disappointed about this later because they wanted to make something a little more showy than just simply this. But Delight didn't care about that at all. So we got married, but no one knew we had gotten married because we were all there by ourselves privately. And while we were down there, we got a call from Delight's aunt, which is quite funny. She said, well, I got word that you and Ormond were down on this trip to Los Angeles, and I understand that you're staying together. And I think that's a very, 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 very shameful thing. It would kind of sully the said name and all that nonsense. Anyway, she scolded us for a little bit, and then suddenly we spoke up for her. Delight did and said, well, that's all very nice, but we got married. Oh, well, right away the whole thing changed. And so then as they got married, oh, we got just wonderful year, I'm so happy, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And so that's the way my marriage came about with Delight. And it was a very lovely marriage. And it proceeded on for 33 years before Delight had to make the transition and pass on to the other side. That, of course, was very difficult, but that is another story.